politics to talk about. And I feel like that it's intuitive or appropriate to talk about other social issues that are out there that I think people want to hear about. So I try to make this short and sweet. The question is always posed to me, and people who I believe are not acting in good faith. Some of them may be jealous or haters. Some of them may be brainwashed or confused or even misinformed about interracial dating. So people that know me know that my wife is white, right? And then my oldest son, his mom is white. Me and her met in college way back in 2010. So people criticize me, and they criticize other black men. Although if you look at statistical data, most black people marry black people at like 80%, white people marry white people, whatever. It's just a phenomenon where there's a crossover. And people criticize me sometimes, and they especially from black people, that, oh, you a traitor to your race, black men shouldn't date white women, you just date white women, as if it's some fetish or something crazy like that.
What's going on,
but let me break it down to you. And I made a video a while back that got millions of views where I spoke about this a long time ago.
This is the, in case some of you guys don't know, not familiar with his voice, fair use. This is Officer Brandon Tatum. I believe he's a former NFL player, and he's also a former police officer. I've talked about Brandon Tatum a few times. We really never see eye to eye when it comes to certain views. Me being a former Army veteran of 20 years, we for some reason, we never, when it comes down to like black issues, when it was involving black people, Officer Tatum does a great job at pointing out the victims, if it's a victim involved at that time. He's always like, you know, they were a criminal, they were bad, you know, they were the scum of the earth, and, you know, and for some reason, every time he talks about black issues, he has such a disdain to where it's like, I just want to prove that I'm one of the good ones and I'm not like them. And now we're talking about an issue where why black people choose to be with white people. Now, my thought process is this, okay? Salute to the chat, I see y'all. My thought process is, if you fall in love with someone, despite what color they are, despite who they are, you fall in love with them, you're vibing with them, you enjoy being with them, you get butterflies when you see them, you want to procreate with them, you want to have a family with them, you want to ride off into the sunset, right? You want the white picket fence, you want the green grass, you want the dog, the kids, you want a family, right? If you decide that's what you want, then go for it. I'm all for it. Whatever it is that you like, go for it. This is the issue. When you promote what you like to be the very best. If I personally like white people in reference to white women, I'm not going to promote white women over black women because it's unfair. Because guess what? Just like a black person, a black woman can have good credit, a white person can have good credit. Just like a black person can have be an entrepreneur, a white person can be entrepreneur. For some reason, since we're talking the white truth, between the Brandon Tatums and the Candace Owens, how they speak as if you're white, you automatically get a check mark for good. You automatically get a check mark for right. You automatically get a check mark for being positive and grand and an asset. And I feel like that's wrong. I'm gonna play some of his video. It rubbed me the wrong way because my thought process is the only reason Brandon Tatum would be doing a video about interracial dating or whatever case be is because someone made a video calling him out on his shenanigans. Keep that same energy when you're talking about black people and how they're criminals and how they deserve to be murdered. Keep that same energy when you're talking about white people. But for some reason, every time it's a line drawn in the sand, Brandon Tatum, even though he's black, he never looks at the situation as a black man. For some reason, he forgets about the challenges and the things that black men face. And he sits on this scale like, since I'm married to a white woman, Since my now wife is white and my girlfriend from my first son is white. So my thought process is you haven't procreated with no black people. Let's just be real. And since we talked about single mothers, right? Since you kind of gave a slap on the wrist to single mothers, you created a single mother. If you're not with your son's mother, which you said was the first child that you had, then you created a single mother, which was a white woman. So you did the same thing that black men do to black women. But for some reason, black women ain't good enough. Black women are not educated. Black women are not articulate. Black women do not have good credit. They are not business owners. Like the way you talk in your video, because I listened to it, it's about 8 minutes. And it's just like, well, black women, they not as argumentative. You wanted someone you can control. You wanted someone that was going to look at you like you were a god. And you try so hard, everything you do to fit in and try to promote that you are one of the good black people. Here's the thought process, Brandon Tatum. Regardless of what you do, regardless of who you marry, regardless of where you live, how you speak, the fact of the matter is you're always going to be a black man in America. And this is not knocking America, but for you to think that you can covertly well, look at all of the stuff that I do that's like white people. You know, that's like the European standard. You know, it's like he checked the block on anything he could say so he could fit in. My thought process, why can't you just be yourself and be with your family and be happy? Why is it that you're so enthused about saying, well, let's talk about these black people and let's talk about how bad they are? And my thought process is it's great to talk about political issues. It's great that you're trying to stomp out politics and talk, you know, you're pro-Trump and all of that good stuff, whatever. And I'm really not knocking you for that. It's just the fact that I know some phenomenal black women, and it's a smack in their face for a man to say, I married a white woman and I leveled up. It's a smack in their face. I'm gonna let y'all hear this. I'm gonna read the comments. I'm gonna let y'all hear this.
But I'm going to give another statement about it just very, very quickly so people can understand. In my opinion, based on my experience,
who the hell is it?
That I know, because I know a whole bunch of brothers that marry white women. 99.99% of the time is because of culture. I think people get caught up in their emotions and get caught up in rhetoric and think it's about race. No, it's more so about availability to certain women and culture. Normally.
Okay, so I get culture. Okay, here's my thought process. I want y'all guys to vibe with me real quick. I'm gonna take y'all on a little memory or whatever. Somebody just stopped in front of me. I was trying to figure out what's about to pop off. It's about to be live. It's about to be live on this, for real. I want to talk about culture. You know, a lot of times when you grew up, like say you grew up in a bad neighborhood and you move out that neighborhood, you may move into a better neighborhood, a suburb almost, and into a better school district, right? And some people even get a little froggy or whatever, and this is what they decide to do. What they decide to do is they send their kids to a private school. Now, here's what's happening. What's happening is when you send your children to a private school, you notice that they talk different than their cousins, right? Your child talk different than their hood cousins, than the urban cousins. You understand what I'm saying? They start talking a little bit more proper. They start kind of doing things that they don't necessarily do in the hood. They play tennis. They like hockey. You know what I'm saying? So they start acting different. Now, here's what happens. What happens is when you send your kids to the private school, in that private school, there are not a lot of black people. Y'all understand what I'm saying? You know, there are not a lot of black people. So they send their kids to school, and now we're going to make up some names. Adam and Becky are available. You know, Adam is the captain of the chess team, and Becky is the captain of the debate team, and your child joins the debate team. Your child joins the chess team or whatever it can be. And they start to have those moments. They start to have those moments. They start to have the conversation. They start to crush on each other, whatever. So your child then grows this infatuation with Adam and Becky. They start to say, you know what, you like the stuff I like. You're into the games that I'm into. You're into doing the things that I'm into. So they grow up with this infatuation for Adam and Becky. So when Brandon Tatum grew up, he went to college. The college he went to, I don't know if it was predominantly white. I don't know if, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But I noticed how he speaks. I noticed that my first baby mama was white. My second baby mama is white. He grew up with this infinity, with this infatuation for white people. And that's why when it comes to the average black man and what they think and how they talk or whatever case may be, he's different, and I understand that. But this is what we want our kids to have a great education or whatever. We want our kids to be smart. We want our kids to be business owners, productive citizens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what happens is when we take our kids and we put them into these good schools, like we seek them out, we put them into these private schools, there are not a lot of other black children there. So the culture that we probably grew up in, they're not accustomed to that. They're not comfortable with that. You see what I'm saying? But they're comfortable speaking to, Becky and Adam. They're comfortable around them. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to kind of understand the Brandon Tatum, syndrome. You see what I'm saying? I want you to kind of understand that. Let's get into this.
You see men who make it in the NFL, NBA, and they go marry white women, and people perceive, oh, that person's a sellout or whatever case may be. No, it's because that person has now been interjected into a different culture. And I said this in my last video.
That person has been interjected into a different culture. There are a lot of successful black couples. There are a lot of NBA players, there are a lot of lawyers, there are a lot of doctors that are black who married their race. Now, I'm not advocating, you only can marry your race. I don't care who you marry. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care. The thought process is when you advocate that as a black man, I'm marrying a white woman because her culture is better. Why can't it be I married someone who I really love, I really respect, I really vibe with, I really appreciate the conversation, I really appreciate, the type of person they are. It's almost like if they ain't white, they ain't right. And I listened to his rhetoric, I listened to his video, and it's almost like he almost wants to say because they're white, their culture is right. Is it better though? I don't know.
About family, marriage. When you look at the statistical data, you see that 70+% of black households, children are born out of wedlock. I grew up with my parents not together. And so when you are involved in a culture that may be more appreciative of the family structure, or for whatever reason the family structure is more intact, and you get to a point where you're outside of your childhood, outside of where you grew up at, and now
Brandon Tatum grew up idolizing the Wonder Years, idolizing the Brady Bunch. You can I'm telling y'all, I'm seeing his blueprint, right? He grew up in a single parent household. His mom probably pushed him to say, I want to put you in this private school. I'm gonna put you in this private school. I'm gonna put you in a good school. And Brandon Tatum grew up idolizing Becky, which is why when he speaks, it's this understanding that, white people are going to be more cultured. White people are going to be more acceptable in reference to the betterment of being a good person, being a good citizen. You know what I'm saying? Look, he's saying he's identifying culture, but what he's really saying is white people. He does look down on his own race. He does. And I want y'all to hear. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I just want y'all to hear what he's saying. So I don't want to talk too much. Salute to the chat. I appreciate y'all rocking with me.
Now you perceive that I want the family, I want this type of environment, then you go for the people that are doing that. People that more than likely their parents are together, or they have a structural environment that you feel like is conducive for what you want in the future. People that are less argumentative, people that are more agreeable with you, people that may agree with you politically, people that may understand financial success.
Why can't you just say I found someone that I vibe with? I can vibe with a Korean female. I can vibe with a Hispanic female. I can vibe with a white female. I can vibe with a person that I vibe with, that I link with. Hey, you cool, you good people. Hey, let's go out, catch a movie. Let's get some dinner. Let's head to an opera or something. Like you cool. Just because you're white don't mean you had a good life. God damn, do I need to piss somebody off? Just because you white don't mean you grew up in a great environment. Don't mean you grew up in a nuclear family. You had a mom and a dad. And here's what's so crazy about it. I wonder, did the white woman that he married, that he had children by, and this is no disrespect to him or whatever case be, but I'm just asking some questions, some simplistic questions. I wonder, did the white woman that he married look at him like, you're from a single parent household and you're a black man, right, that has a baby out of wedlock? I wonder, did she look down on him? God damn. I wonder, did she look down on him like he looks down on other black people who say, because, well, if you're a black man and you got her pregnant, right, and she's a single mother, I'm gonna look down on that black woman, but I'm not gonna look down on my first baby mama that's white. I'm not gonna look down on her. I'm not going to say anything bad about her. I'm not going to say that she was argumentative. I'm not going to say that she was from a bad culture. I'm not going to say anything about her. And see, my thought process is, now you're saying that you don't have balance, Mr. Tatum. You're saying you don't promote balance. You're saying that if you are white, then you are right. And that's not cool with me. That's not cool with me. People don't deserve to hear no garbage like that, because it's like, you're saying, okay, if I want y'all to notice that their culture is better. You're tiptoeing on racism. You're tiptoeing on the usage of, because they're white, they might have grown up better. They might have a better understanding about finances. They might have an understanding about a nuclear family. They might have a better understanding about submission. And here's the thought process. You got to understand, Brandon Tatum, the same way that you say that you are an enigma. You are the apple of the eye. You ain't like the average black man. Well, here's the thought process. How many black women grew up like you did? They went to a good school. They I ain't gonna say they went to the NFL, but hey, maybe they played tennis. You see what I'm saying? Maybe they became a police officer. So the thought process is, why don't you think, why do you think that you are the unicorn? But there are no female unicorns that would have matched your swag. I believe the white women that it was an easier task. I believe it was an easier task for him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to deal with a black woman because he knew that was going to be a feat that he might not have been able to control. You gotta be honest. I'm about to piss somebody off. I'm gonna be real with y'all. It's a different type of energy. A black woman ain't just gonna let you walk up on her looking all corny, you know what I'm saying, talking about a bunch of nothing or whatever case to be. They gonna call you out. And maybe that white lady was like, oh, okay, you're so funny. Maybe it was easier to get with that white woman, which is why his first baby mama was white. His second baby mama is white. Maybe it was easier. Because you don't praise. The only black woman that I've heard him praise was Candace Owens. And we all know Candace Owens' story. We know Candace Owens is also married to a Caucasian man. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's get into this.
And you may want to attain that relationship with them. That has minimal to do with race. And like I said, there's a lot of successful black people that are married to black people. There's a lot of conservative black people that are married to black people. ABL's wife is black. Ben Carson's wife is black. I can go down the list of many black people who are conservative that marry black people, and it's not necessarily the race, it's culture. The reason I married my wife had nothing to do with the color of her skin. I dated black women plenty of times. My first serious girlfriend, my first girlfriend in high school was black, girlfriend in college was black. I dated a few other black women while I was a police officer, and the reason why I dated my wife is because we agree on how to raise children. We agree on politics. We agree on many things. We have a similar sense of humor. My wife is ambitious.
Brandon Tatum, I am very disappointed in you. I am very, very, very disappointed in you. As a veteran of the United States Army, I am very disappointed in you. As a citizen, I am very disappointed in you. As a fellow black man, I'm very disappointed, and here is why. And I'm hoping that your viewers see this. I'm disappointed because you could have simply said you love your wife based on these principles. I would have never titled a video, Why Black Men Choose White Women. You chose your wife that happens to be white. What you're doing is you're putting this beacon out, this making this notation that I chose me a white girl because she better. She know how to do finances. She ain't argumentative. And what it is you're smacking black women in the face. Come on now. Now I know, ladies, before y'all get too hyped, goddamn it, wait. Now we got our problems. Black men got their problems. Black women got their problems. Our community got their problems. But the thing about it is, when you find someone who thinks that they've struck gold, let me tell you why black men is marrying white women. First of all, they not argumentative. So your wife allows you to walk over her. If it's not about her being white, then why do a whole video for 8 minutes about her being white, talking about how her culture was better? Well, what's her culture? What's her culture? What's her culture that's not a lot of other black women's culture? What school does she go to? What church does she go to? How does she speak? What is her credit score like? What makes her so great and grand? Instead of just saying I chose my wife because I love her, I chose my wife because, we vibed together. She was cool. I met her in college, or I met her at the bar, or I met her wherever. It's just like her culture is better. I don't know. He was drinking when he was doing this, so I don't know. I don't knock somebody getting their drink on. I'm just saying, like, you have a big platform, and you should be more responsible with how you're delivering your message. You want to talk about politics, cool. You want to talk about Democrats and the right and the left and the middle and I got it. But when you start talking about races, and you know for a fact that you have created mixed children, right? You know for a fact that you've chosen white women to procreate with. You got to watch your statements. Why black men choose white women? Okay, Brandon.
Is, she compensates for the things that I feel like that I lack. I'm not a fashion person, but my wife is really good at fashion. She's really good at budgeting.
But I just say, he not a fashion person. What I just say, huh? Thanks for leveling up. I appreciate that. Thank you. He not a fashion person. I'm telling y'all, he chose a white woman because it was easier for him, because where he grew up at. You know what I'm saying? Well, ain't I'm just gonna go and put some Wranglers on and throw on a t-shirt. Damn, bro. I ain't knocking the wearing of Wranglers. I don't want y'all to come at me like that, right? But I'm just saying he's you can just tell. You can tell how he presents himself. And Candace Owens, I'm gonna be honest with you, even though she's articulate, even though I feel like, she is a powerhouse, even she says some wild stuff. Candace Owens is the type of black woman that he would be looking for. He wouldn't be looking for Nicki Minaj. He wouldn't be looking for Meg Thee Stallion. Candace Owens would be the epitome of what he would be looking for. The epitome.
There's a lot of great things, and as a partnership, it makes sense. All of my friends who are married to white women or women outside of their quote unquote race are married because these women.
Let me say this real quick. Everybody that has brought a membership or joined the members only piece, I have something very special. I got something for you guys. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm leveling up for no reason. I got y'all. We definitely gonna start doing some great stuff or whatever. I appreciate everybody in the chat. And I appreciate everybody rocking with me right now. If you're new, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, and tag some of your friends or whatever case to be. And I really want to make this clear. You know what I'm saying? Love who you love. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you choose to love, that's who you choose to love. It's, and you should be proud. Hey, this is my wife, my husband. These are our children. And that's great and that's grand. But don't advocate, something about a culture, because just like there are good black people that come, that's just like there are good white people that come from good families, there are some phenomenal black people that come from good families. So just to say, oh, well, I ain't even look at the black people, I was just out here looking for a white person because I just figured, it'll be better because of their culture. And I hate when people say white culture and black culture. I'm looking for some good people. You know what I'm saying? Jetty LaRue say, I'm looking for a few good men. Well, I'm looking for a few good women. I'm just saying, man, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't look past the black women because, oh, well, I ain't fashionable. Come on, bro. You telling on yourself. White women for you were easier to get because you played football. You was a police officer. They were easier for you to get. The college that you went to, they probably, of course, they're going to navigate towards you. Black women probably didn't navigate towards you. And since they didn't navigate towards you and you wasn't accepted by them, you said, hey, well, okay, I get more play from white women. You know what I'm saying? So you became more infatuated with white women. You the type of, he the type of guy be like, Adele will be on it. Well, actually Adele, Adele look pretty good. I shouldn't use Adele, but I'm just using Adele. Adele will be on stage and Meg Thee Stallion be on stage. And he be like, yeah, I see Meg Thee Stallion, but what about Adele? You know what I'm saying? He just that type of guy, man. I'm not knocking him, but I can see why he has that. And it's not a disdain, but I can see why he is the way he is. I can see it.
Being to them, kind to them, supportive of them. And in many of these cases, and I'm just going to be honest, many of these cases, I think that there's the reason why we do see this sometimes, and it's back to the culture, is because some of these young people who are raised without fathers, raised with mama that say, I don't need no man. And I'm not saying that every white person got a daddy and every black person don't have a daddy. But what I'm saying is that when you look at the statistical data and even your own personal experience, just keep it real. then you see that when a person is raised in a family where I don't need no man, we doing good, we out here surviving. When that person is born into that situation, I believe the lack of fatherhood, you don't know how to treat a man. You don't understand what it is to be vulnerable with another person.
There's some validity to what he just said. The same way that I say that he is wrong about certain things, I think it's I have an obligation to also say that there are some things that he's saying that is right. There are women out here that have children that promote the narrative of how they don't need a man, and they instill that into their children. Now, when I say need a man, I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying, need a man to pay the bills and da-da-da-da. I'm talking about need a man for companionship. Because when you push a man away or you leave a man outside your home and your children never see you interact in a relationship, they don't know where to draw their interactions with another person from. If it's not you directly, then you don't know who you draw the reaction from. Do you draw it from social media? Do you draw it from a reality TV show? You know what I'm saying? So I get it. If you don't have a man around, it is difficult to have that example. And if you don't have that example, then that creates a lot of messed up situations as you grow up, because you grow up selfish. You grow up promoting how you don't need this and how this and this and this. So I get that. But Brandon, it's not just a black thing. So you got to be fair with your dialogue. It's not just a black thing. And you yourself said that you grew up in a single parent household. So is that what you witnessed? Is that why you have a disdain or a concern about black women because of what your mother did to you?
Especially a man being vulnerable, cooking, cleaning, doing things that you believe is a servant or a service to your husband. And then this feminist movement and got women all whacked out. But realistically speaking, men are desiring women who are that way. When I was growing up, women like that used to get criticized. Right? Yeah, the white woman, they always y'all want the white woman because they weak. Y'all want the white woman because they'll do whatever you want to do. They don't never say, they ain't got nothing to say. And it's like, well, that's the point. You know what I'm saying? You want a woman that's agreeable. You want a woman that's going to be nice to you. You don't want a woman that's arguing with you all the time. You don't want a woman that want to wear the pants.
Brandon,
and y'all battling who the man in the house.
Shots fired.
Unfortunately,
shots fired.
From my personal experience, and it's obviously not the experience of every person, is that certain cultures of people, typically lower income, poorer people, have this mentality that is not productive. I would argue counterproductive to marriage and to things that successful people want to obtain. And I'll finish it with this, just my thoughts. I would argue that people need to stop looking at race. Look at love. Okay? Marry who you love. Don't marry who you look like. Because a lot of y'all miserable because you want to marry who you look like instead of marrying who you love. The person that's going to be the best fit for your family, the best fit as a wife, as a helpmeet, according to the Bible, a person that's going to be supportive of you, and I'm speaking to men. For the women, a man that's going to be a leader and responsible that you can depend on. It doesn't matter what color they are. It matters what they are to you. Love is love no matter what. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Just my quick thoughts on interracial dating. I mean, I could have a whole podcast. Me and my wife are going to start our own podcast. But you can have a whole podcast talking about these things because it's something that has come up and people criticize me all the time and criticize other black people. Oh, you just marrying white women. Candace Owens' husband is white. You just marrying white people, you know. And so I think that it's invaluable to have the conversation about why. Why do most people do this? And generally speaking, it's because of culture. It's because you are in a realm or a culture or you identify with a certain set of skills or cultural identity practices that are conducive for your life. So anyway, love you guys. Today wasn't about politics.
So I don't think people have an issue with Brandon Tatum because he married a white woman. I think we have an issue I noticed that we have an issue because of the rhetoric that you use to identify black issues. You talk as if you have a lack of understanding when it comes to with the Jacob Blake situation. He was a criminal. George Floyd, he was a criminal. Like Ahmaud Arbery, he deserved it. Those people wasn't in the wrong. And I'm just like, what the fuck type of life? Like, what in the hell? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you talk as if you're not of this race. And I think that's the issue. That you talk as if you're not of this race. Now, I ain't saying I'm saying you talk as if I'm so far removed. Just because you live in the suburbs, bro, a lot of us live in the suburbs. A lot of us, live in good areas, went to good schools, got good credit, homeowners, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of us. But I don't promote I had to move to a white neighborhood. I don't promote that, my white friends are better than my black friends. I promote that I have a support system, and within that support system, there are different races. And I just feel like, he could have did a better job at talking about, first of all, say how y'all fell in love. This is how we fell in love. Again, we went to the same school. We went to the same church. When we were around each other, it was always sparks. She always made me feel good. It was always a great time. And I was like, this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Because when you start talking about culture and values and standards and morals, well, I know some people in the hood that got the same standards and morals as people in the suburbs. They just live in the hood because they can't afford to move out. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like when you say dating a single mom, she's bad. She's no good. Throw her away. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the thought process is I've met buku. Can I say buku, Brandon? That might be a little too hood for you. Numerous women that have been single parents. Phenomenal single parents. And to say that me not having a conversation and getting to know those women, whether it was on a personal or professional level, would have been a disservice to me. Would have been an injustice to me. Oh, you got kids? I only want to talk to you. Because I took the time to talk to her, she was talking about stocks. She was talking about passports. She was talking about traveling. She was talking about buying homes. And so I actually learned something. There was some great dialogue. Just to shun somebody. You got kids? Oh, hell no. I don't know. I just think people talk unrealistically and they throw it out there and hoping that it land on somebody that's been broken or hurt by somebody. These black men. These black women. That's why I'm gonna go get me a Chad. And I hear people say they're gonna go get a Chad, but you never see Chad. You never see Chad or Mike, Jonathan or John. You never see the people that they say are the best advocate for them. But you never see these people that scream divesting, these people that scream this is better, the grass is greener over there. Yeah, whoever's standing on that grass over there, they the best. But you never hear the people that's standing on the grass over there say, hey, yeah, you good yourself. You awesome yourself. I want to marry you. I want to be with you. Like, you never get that. So it's like you're divesting to a location where people don't even want you over there. They're not even thinking about you. You getting all hot and bothered and wet. Oh, Lord, look at Chad. Whoa. Forget you, Dominique. Forget you, Raekwon. Forget you. You know what I'm saying? You getting all like excited and happy, and it's like, forget you. Love who you love. You know what I'm saying? So he ended it. I see what you said, Lisa D. He definitely ended it on pulling everybody back in or whatever case may be. But love who you love. You know what I'm saying? I promote positive people. I get behind people who want to be in love, want to raise their kids, want to work together, want to teach one another and build on one another. Like, imagine, I ain't gonna clean for you, I ain't gonna cook for you, I ain't gonna support you. Well, you don't want to be with me then. That could be a white person, a black person, a Hispanic person. Some people just got bad attitudes. Newsflash. Some people just bad people. When you start putting a skin color on it, then you're as worse as the KKK. You're as worse as a Black Panther. You're a part of these organizations of hatred. Love who you love. Protect who you love. That's what I say. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm hoping that you guys are having a phenomenal holiday season. And y'all stay blessed, man. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Definitely. You know, I'm on vacay, just moving around real quick or whatever. But if I see something I need to address it, I'm going to address it or whatever. Other than that, if I don't go live again, I'll see y'all next year. All right? Adult up. Peace.